And boom, just like that, I'm live. I wanted to give a quick update on my solar panel situation. I'm sitting here talking with my wife about the whole scenario. And I was like, hey, I could just come and talk to y'all. Talk to you. So if you've been following, I was uh, I was debating between a 320-watt Renogy panel and a non-existent in my area 400-watt whatever panel, maybe used, maybe able to get it for like $200. I don't know. That's what I was going for. So what I was going to do is I was going to get two of those panels to make it be a little more appealing for the price. But I realized that I didn't realize I never needed two. I was just going to get two to kind of future proof myself in case I got another bigger power station down the road, which I anticipate that I will get. Um, so what I decided on, what's up, Siobhan? What I decided on, because now whether this panel is coming to me or not, it's almost irrelevant, but just hear me out. I was going to get two of the Renogy panels just to, make it be an appealing purchase. I hit the guy up last week. It has been non-sunny for the last like 6 days or whatever. And I was like, yeah, I need to come through on a sunny day so I could test the panels. And he was like, cool. So I was like, and I'm in a position where I don't need two panels anymore. Can I get just one panel for $250? He seemed agreeable to that, right? So Bouge RV reached out to me and they were like, hey, we want to kind of send you something to test. And I was like, cool. I wanted to test out your 9BB panels so that I'm anticipating them sending me a 180-watt Renogy panel, which is cool. I look forward to testing that out. Here's the interesting thing. That was like the thing that got me to the point where it was like, I don't need two of those panels because one, I don't really necessarily want the 320-watt panel, but I want a bigger panel to be on my EB120 so that I get more power from a one panel, one power station setup. Okay. The 180-watt panel just gives me another panel to test. It doesn't necessarily have any bearing on that. But before I kind of arrived at this space where I was gonna, hey MJ, before I arrived at this space where I was gonna look at these panels that I would purchase from Renogy, I was thinking about and weighing this idea of, well, I have four, basically 200-watt panels. I have a Renogy 200. I have three HQST 190s. No. I have a Renogy. I have a Rich Solar 200, and then I have three HQST 190s, and now I'll have one 180 from Bouge RV. I expect the size to be very similar, but that's a whole nother thing. So I've been debating about this idea because right now I have one HQST on my EB120. I can put, in theory, up to three 190s on that dip, and it should work. Put them all in series. It should stay under the 68 voltage limit. They advertise 60 volts, but they kind of like give you the 64 as grace. I don't know. I'm holding this thing in my hand. Anyway, that's a whole nother thing. So I thought about, okay, I haven't done the math yet, but I thought about, well, I have this 190-watt panel on the EB120. Should I just put the two panels in series and then don't move them? The problem with putting my panels in series is if I have to move them, the wires get all weird because your wires have to end on each panel. So I have two iPhones here. I'm not going to give iPhone no press charge iPhone. Let's say these are my two panels, right? The two Android phones because I'm team Android. Typically in series, you hook those panels together and they're about this close. What I like to do is to put a little bit of an extension cord, an MC4 extension cord in between them to space them out. The problem with that is as you space them out, the two wires, your MC4 positive right here and negative, they dead end over on each separate panel. Whereas normally you would have those cables be right here next to each other. So if I have a situation where I have one over here so it can do the sun, and I have one over here so it can do the sun, my cables end up having to go like that. And that's weird. That's weird for me. So I thought about this idea of taking them, putting them in series, and just leaning them up against my wall, south facing, never moving them. And is that worth it to get double the power for less hours than having one panel that I could move around? I could put up against the wall. I can move this other way for when I need to move it, and it could mostly face up against the wall to get the most sun because it's south facing. I hope that makes sense. Hey, Kimberjack. I said all that to say I've been debating about that. So that would essentially mean, because right now I have four 190 or 175 plus panels. I like to call them all 200-watt panels, but they're not technically. I have four 200-watt panels, all on different power stations. Bouge RV is about to send me a fifth if they follow through on their word. So what I could essentially do is take two of those HQSTs and put them on one device. And then now I have two panels on one, three, four power stations that can all get in power. Now the Renogy thing, what's up, Came to Win? Salute to you, bro. The Renogy panel essentially takes this whole two panel thing that I'm about to do and it blows it out of the water. Because I can't put a Renogy panel with anything else because panels will drop each other down to their common ground. So the Renogy 320 will essentially become a 190 for the sake of conversation. So it's just like what I typically had. Here's my other like kind of caveat that's playing a role in this is that there's not a lot of videos out there for that Renogy 320. There's like two. So I do want to be able to make a couple videos out of it, like the initial unboxing and impressions, output, and all that jazz, size comparisons to two 190s versus, or one 190 versus the 320. I want you guys to be able to kind of see what that looks like height-wise and all that jazz. Hey, guys. Right. You like Arsenio Hall and Harlem Nights with the little pea shooter. Ban everything. What's happening, man? Good to see you. Good to see you. Let's throw your comment. I haven't been feeling well. Wanted to drop in and say hello. I appreciate that, man. I hope you feel better soon. ASAP Ferg. I don't know why my lights feels kind of trash today. I don't know what this is about. It's probably because I got all this coming in over here. But anyway. All right. So the Renogy situation blows that out of the water. I still want to get the Renogy panel because I want to make content on it. And I'm intrigued by that panel. It's a single panel solution. I did my math last time wrong. 320 watts. I anticipated it being like 280, but I think it's going to put out about 260 watts because it's like you take 20% off 320, that's 32. 3260, yeah, 64. You take 65 watts away from its rated, which is what I typically get from all my panels. They typically produce about 80% of their power. They go above 80% on certain days when the sun is on, Habib Marwan. So that gets me about 265 from a single panel. That's popping to me from what I'm used to. My 190 watt panels typically give me, on a good day, maybe about, let's say on an average day, it's about 150, 160. They don't go up much higher than that. So if you do the math on that, that's 190, 20, 20, 40 minus 40, that's about 150. So that's the typical amount of power you get. So that panel will give me 250 watts, which is cool. You know what I mean? It's cool. So I'm still in this place where I'm kind of wondering, and I don't want a two panel situation, but if I'm going to entertain series for two 190s, would I entertain series for two 320s? And I think that could work. I have to look at the specs on the Renogy again, but I think it's a typical like 36 volt panel. That may put it past the 68 volts, which probably it will. So I may not be able to even do that realistically. So it still puts me in a situation where I'm going to get the 320 unless I get divine blockage from God or something like that. And then I'm still going to be on the hunt for a 400 watt panel, just in the future, casually. No rush. I'll probably be pushing for something like less than $200 or $200 for something that's nice. I may spend a little bit more if the panel is, nicer or something like that. I don't know, but I won't be pressed. And in a situation for me, when I'm not pressed, then I have all the negotiating power because I don't care. It's like, okay, well, you don't want to sell it for that price? Good money. What's going on, Lee? Good to see you. Came to when I spoke to you guys. So tomorrow is going to be a sunny day. My intentions are to go and look at the panel tomorrow. And then I'll probably come home with a panel, which will be cool. It'll be very, very cool to have a panel that puts out that much power. But I'm also still curious about this whole two 190s in series because that'll give me, see, you think about it, that's going to give me about 300 watts. So it's only 50 extra watts for a 2-panel inconvenient setup where I could get 250 watts for a longer portion of the day versus 300 watts for like basically the 5 sun hours that everybody talks about because that's when the sun is coming from the south the strongest. What do y'all think, if anything? Y'all can see how I'm super strategic. I'll be in here scheming. I saw a guy use reflectors, get about 140 watts from a 100-watt panel. Some said it could damage them, but this might be useful in an emergency on hazy days when you need to get extra power. That is interesting. That's very interesting. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Will Proust did a video on the whole reflectors thing. And then I saw that other video. I started to watch it because somebody shared it with me. But then Will commented on that video and was like, yeah, you got to be careful because, and once he said that, I was just like, yeah, I'm not going to waste my time because it was a longer video. It was just like, I'm not interested in videos that waste my time. I have to find me some folding panels on sale now. How much you looking for? Because the Rock Pals panels are on sale. They're quad folding, but I think they're like 170. I saw like a coupon on Instagram or something like that. That's on sale. The big blue panels have been kind of trending around 180. Panels go on sale quite often. I don't know if the brands can be trusted, but we'll see. I hate that my light is so trash, man. Jeez, this is garbage. I am going to do that. Can you close this window for me and see if that makes a difference? It's just messing up my white balance all sorts of ways. You gotta eliminate all of light. That feels normal. There we go. Now we're back to normal. Okay. Really? Silly. Y'all don't have no input for me, man. Like I come to y'all for help. I come to y'all for insight. I know, right? MJ said, hey. So I also have this other situation that I wanted to show you guys a bit of my like how I and it's crazy because I have them all in this window. So what I can do, I think I'll just sign out real quick. Let's do that. Boom. I gotta refresh all these pages. I know what I could do. Let's close the browser. I want to show y'all something I've been researching and just to give y'all an idea how granular I am with these searches. Let's see if I can accomplish it. Let me give y'all a quick update while I get into that. I did record videos for I'm gonna pull it up right now. Let's see, share your screen, sir. Let's do a window and this window. Firefox. Now, let's see what happens when I just do this. No, it doesn't. Okay, I have to actually add it. Oh, that's interesting. Okay, I'll take that. I did record a video for this device. This device right here. That'll be coming out. I'm gonna send it to them. I'm gonna email them and say, hey, the device, I recorded the video. Did y'all want to see it first, or did y'all just want to see the finished product? I don't intend to have them give me any critiques, but if they have something that I got wrong, like basically, I don't want them trying to tell me how to pull stuff out of the video so that it doesn't make them look bad. But if I got something wrong, then I may kind of, add a note or something like that. So I recorded a video for that. I also talked to, that's the one that looks like, right? This is the one I wanted originally when I talked about the bone-ins. I may have to get a screen grab of this one so I could put it in that video so y'all know what I'm talking about. I talked to Mylan. I sent Mylan an email. I find myself having buyer's remorse about the Mylan because for me, it's supposed to be a total device. They did give me half of my money back, right? I spent 250 on it, 260 with tax and all that. They gave me like 138 back. So that device ended up costing me like 138. But here's my problem with the Mylan. My problem with the Mylan is that because it doesn't work in totality, the solar charging is a problem. I feel like it's kind of gimped. I feel like I looked into that word to make sure it's not socially inappropriate, but I don't know if I got far. But I feel like it's gimped. And I don't know. I think that'll make me kind of relegated to the back of the pack in terms of usefulness. What it was typically being used for is a power dump for my EcoFlow, but I have the battery being sent off to EcoFlow tomorrow, so I'll be getting another one of those. So I don't know if I'll need a power dump necessarily or as huge a power dump. Essentially, the EcoFlow with the battery on it was behaving kind of worse than a 278 watt hour device that it is, whatever it is, 288 or whatever. So that's kind of why I got the Mylan. So with the Mylan not functioning the way, I like to be able to move stuff around so that when stuff is full, I could put another power station on it to get the sun. The Mylan is a bit finicky. So I just feel like I'll probably end up giving it away or having it sit somewhere. And I feel like I spent my actual money on that. So I feel like I'd like my money back. I mean, if they sent it to me, that's a different thing. You know what I mean? But the fact that I paid money for it and how particular I am with using these devices and how I was relegated kind of to not being used, I was like, you know what? This is going to bother me for a while. So I'm going to hit them up about it. Hey, Ria, what's up? Anthony, what's happening? Can I use a 55 millimeter input and use the XT60 from another 100 watt panel on the EB55? Let me swing back to that. I want to show you guys a couple things I was looking at. Big Blue is still a work in progress. I need to start editing the video together. This is where I'm going with this. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Well, that's weird. Let's just kill me. Can y'all hear me? All right. What's up, Mr. Repo? Don't hurt the harvest. Good to see you. Did I say hi to South Padre? Hello there. Did you sell all your panels, South Padre Q? Or do you still have a couple laying around? I saw you mention that you got some hard panels now, but did you sell all your other panels? I have. So essentially, I'm looking for little rolling trays for a power station that I have in my kitchen or a setup that I have in my kitchen. So when I first started out with solar, I guess I could be on screen now. When I first started out with solar, my solar has always come in through the kitchen. It still comes in through the kitchen, but I got a wire long enough that my EB70 is sitting like right here. So I would have cables kind of whatever. I'd have like devices over there sitting by the window. But now I have two cables from two panels coming into the kitchen, into two power stations, but they just kind of sit in the floor. My wife happens to be okay with that. I'm surprised by that every day, but she is okay with it. So they sit over there, they charge, but I want them to be able to be easily moved. So I had this idea, like, what if I could get something that was like this, right? I love these little things. I bought one for my EcoFlow that's next to my TV to give it some height off of the ground so I could better access the ports. But I wanted to see if I could find something like that that had wheels on it, because then I could move those power stations rather easily. And more importantly, she could move them rather easily. I just thought that was cool. So I kind of started with this one and I was like, that's cool. It gave me an idea. it's a decent size, but it's intended for something else, right? So I was looking at this one and I wanted to show you guys these because y'all may benefit from these. You look at the weight that they can support pretty good weight on these, 150 pounds. Whether you trust that or not is up to you, but some cool little devices. The thing that I'm running into, this one is 64, is heavy duty. They're too big for me. They would take up more space. These are 17 by 17. Most of them are 14 by 14. This thing is like 10 by 7. So I want something kind of like this size because I feel like this is perfect, especially for the power stations that I have right now. So there's another one. I'll put links to all of these dips in the whatever. This one's a cool looking one. I could probably use that for something somewhere. And it's relatively affordable, 22 bucks. And then I thought these were interesting, but they're kind of big. They're 15-inch. So I haven't found what I would look for, but you guys may find these to be useful in some type of application that you have. And I don't even, I was joking with my wife. It's like, I'm looking through all of these things and I don't even know if I'm going to buy one. So it's like, I'm pretty, I'm out here in these streets. And then this is something else I'm looking into. Oh, I didn't have this stuff up on the screen. Fail. I got to show you guys all of them again. Kimber Jack says, I bought a little Dolly from Harbor Freight. I wasn't even sharing the screen. What a bum. All right. That's not even what I was talking about. Okay, let's go through these real quick. That's one. That's one. This one is the most affordable, like nice looking one, I guess. And these are like heavy duty ones that come with, they seem to be for moving like furniture and stuff. Like I saw one of the dude, yeah, they had a picture of two of the things together. That's too big. These things, to put it in perspective, they will hold like my Jackery and my Rock Pals. It may be something bigger eventually, but you don't need the thing to be as big as a power station to hold it up. You just need it to be able to take that weight. Anywho. All right, let's see what y'all talking about. Okay, you have 3 panels left. All right, cool. Well, we need to revisit that to make sure people know that those things are still available. Let me go back to my man's question if he's still around, or maybe he can pop in later. I'll try and put a timestamp to this question. It says, can I use the 55 millimeter input? So you talk about the EB55. The first thing is the EB55 input is 8 millimeter, but let's not nitpick. Can I use the barrel input and use the XT60 port from another 100 watt panel on the EB55? I feel like I need clarity on that one because I don't know any panel other than the EcoFlow ones that have XT60 on them. And I don't even know if the EcoFlow ones have XT60 on them. They may terminate an MC4 and then you use your MC4 to XT60 to connect. So I'm not sure what you're getting after there. Let's see. I still love my trolley dolly from QVC without basket. Is perfect for moving the Blue Eddy. Nice. That's what's up. How many times have you had to send parts back on that EcoFlow? Me, I had to return the EcoFlow once, and then I'm having to send the extra battery back, which I'm very interested in. I could have just got my money back, but I opted to get the battery replaced because I wonder how well it's going to work. I wonder how well it's going to work. So I feel like I would do that. That way I could kind of update you guys like, hey, this one worked. No, this one did not work. If it doesn't work again, I'm going to just like call it a wash and just ask for my money back. I don't think I'm going to do it again because I could put that $200 or whatever it was towards something else. And if you were following along, I was going to put it towards an EcoFlow River Pro from Costco. But I opted against that because I'm not hurting for capacity. What I'm kind of in the need of is inverter bumps versus like watt hour increases. Okay, you said that way I can use the second panel for another power bank that only takes 55. I'm not sure I follow that. Message me somewhere, Anthony. I'm on Instagram, Facebook, Telegram. I prefer those because I can send voice messages back to people, and that's a lot easier than having to type back. What's up, C Holmes? Hey, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it. Hey, Auntie Blessings. So I can have two separate panels for two separate power banks, but combine them for the EB55. Yeah, my brain just I can't process that. I can't see it, so I don't know what you're doing. I do know that the EB55 supports dual charging, but that barrel connector can only be used for the wall charger because it only takes like 25 to 28 volts or something like that. It's super narrow. I didn't like that about the EB55. I thought that that barrel port and that XT60 connector would have been dope if they both could have taken a range of voltage, which means I could go 12 volt to either. What I mean is I could go cigarette plug to either. I could go solar panel to either, and then I could use the barrel connector on the wall charger on the barrel connector, because you can't go wall charger to XT60. I mean, you could if you start cutting wires open, I suppose. But I thought that they kind of made a step forward with the EB55, but I'd like them to keep going. They kind of limited it a little bit, and I wasn't a fan of that. Hey, Jessica. Is there a solar generator that can power an entire house for hours? If so, what's the name of it? About the biggest capacity one you're going to be able to get without the EP500 from Bluetti, because that thing is a monster. It almost feels like a rarity, but I feel like people have them. That one's pretty big. The entire house is going to be tough, right? Because your average person uses about 18 kilowatt hours a day. 18 to maybe 24. Some people use a little bit less. Some people use a little bit more. It varies. So if you don't have solar on that day, then you're going to be out of luck. I feel like to have a whole house battery backup, you're going to have to spend some coin. A portable power station or a kind of all-in-one system will be tough. Because then but they have expandable ones. The EcoFlow River Pro can be expanded up to like, I think 25 kilowatt hours or something like that. If Ria's around, maybe she can answer that. Nice. I'm love. Hey, I see. That's what I meant. I got you, Anthony. Cool. Getting to solar season again. Yeah, solar season don't stop for me. Sun be shining all the time. It don't shine as much as I wanted to, but I feel like I don't be hurting too much in the winter for solar. I get solar power, but it's mainly because I have such a low power draw. So with these 200-watt panels giving me 20 watts, I can get by on that if my power stations aren't completely dead. If they are, then I can't do much with it. Did I answer that question appropriately, Jessica? I feel like the only two options you have to kind of get close to being there with solar power having to supplement it is the big beastie ones by EcoFlow and by Bluetti. I don't know if the Bluetti one is as expandable. I don't know how many you can put on there. I think you can only do like 2, but I don't know. I don't pay very close attention to those things enough to retain that information. Okay. Ria's saying the EcoFlow Delta Pro goes up to 28 kilowatt hours and more. Okay, and more. So they wilding out here in these streets. So you can do it. But even still, what almost 30 kilowatt hours, I guess realistically, if the power was out, you wouldn't be using 18 kilowatt hours a day like you normally would. You would kind of dial it back. So maybe, but you got to spend a lot of coin to get that. You got to spend a lot of coin to accomplish that. You're welcome. I also recorded the video for the Alcatel. We'll see how that one comes out. The only thing I have left to record is the Sateki power station, which is an interesting one. I like the Sateki, but I have to test that one a little more to pin down some of the details. It's not as straightforward as some of these other ones, or maybe it's just not as straightforward in my mind because I probably have to read the label. But because I haven't done that, I have some things that are unknown to where I just can't sit down and kind of rattle off like I want to with my notes quickly. And then I have a video I need to do with the big blue solar panel. I have a couple people who have reached out to me to send me some stuff. There's like a solar panel I could be getting soon. There's a smaller solar panel I could be getting soon. The dude wanted to offer me a 40 watt. The 40 watt was like kind of weird. Not weird, but I didn't know how useful that would be, especially if it wouldn't put out the 40 watts. So I was like, y'all have a 60 watt. Can you send that one? Because that one seems to be more appropriate, right? Because you could get by off of 60 watts. If your 60 watt panel puts out about 50 or 45, then you could charge your laptop directly from that. I hope. I think it has a PD port that's rated at 60 watts. Energizer was supposed to send me their 500 some odd watt hour one, a 600 watt hour one. It's not LiPo, but we'll see. Supposed to be getting this other folding panel that's 100 watts. It kind of looks like the Jackery, but it looks a little interesting. So I'm looking forward to getting my hands on that one. And I don't know, man. None of y'all gave me any advice about these panels, man. I'm disappointed. So mind you, a Powerwall is 13 kilowatt hours. So with solar, you can make do and get by. Right. Yeah. I was thinking about the Powerwall. Just the words didn't come out of my mouth. Okay. That's it for me. Little lunchtime live. Go ahead and wrap it up. If y'all have any questions, go ahead and fire them off. If not, we're going to get on out of here. We got a few more minutes. I still have not emailed Oops either. I'm going to email them some point. I have to be ready mentally for what I'm going to share with them. Because, yeah, it's an interesting thing. Oh, another thing just about the solar panels. I was talking with my wife as well about that. And she was like, she was kind of trying to solve my problem, which I was like, I was just talking about it. She was like, it seems like you just need the bigger power stations. And it's like, well, yeah, but I'm still going to need the panels. So which makes me feel like, let's say a month from now, 6 weeks from now, Blue Eddy sends me an AC 200p, right? In that situation, I'm now playing in you can go up to 100 some odd volts. That would be a situation where would I want to have two of those Renogy panels, the 320 watts to put in series and kind of be stationary? Or would I want to kind of plan out a situation where I get like two slightly bigger, but bigger, like 400 watt panels? And I know that AC 200p can take in up to 700 watts, but you're not going to get 700 watts from those panels. 800 watts, you'll probably get like 640 or something like that, 620. So I don't know. I really, it's like trying to plan for the future with solar, with me being as intentional as I am. Like, I don't like to do things more than once. I really don't like that. So I like to get it as right as possible. It makes me wonder if I should get the two Renogy 320s, but I would much rather have spent like $500 on two 400 watt panels, right? But that's the thing. If I get one of these 320s and then at some point in time I get like a 400, when I have those things in my hand, I will be better prepared to be able to say, oh, you know what? I don't like the size of this one. Or this Renogy being more square is a little more inconvenient versus the taller one. I like that I can lean that and it goes up against the fence nicely. Or I lay the taller one sideways instead of long ways. It's like all of these things that I have to consider, that I have to try to consider before I have the stuff in my hands. But when I get the panels in my hands, then that kind of informs my decision-making progress more. So I wish I lived out west, because y'all be having panels galore out that way. So you could always kind of drive up to somebody and like take a look at them and put your hands on them. So it's an interesting thing. You're welcome. That would be ideal. Bigger panels, but money. They're not that much more expensive though. I've spent $200 roughly on all 4 of these panels. So you think about that, right? That's $800 that I've spent on like $1 per watt. When if I took that $800, if I had the vision, but I couldn't use if I bought those panels back then, right? I couldn't use them on any of my power stations because all my power stations were limited to 12-volt panels only. When you start to get into some of these bigger panels, you're in the 24-volt range. If you don't have a power station that can take that, then I would have had panels that I couldn't do nothing with, right? So, I may end up having to sell a panel or two because they'll probably just sit around if I started getting into bigger panels and bigger power stations. I still have 4 100-watt panels, and they could be combined and put into parallel to be used on some stuff. But right now, at this point, I'm just kind of trying to future-proof myself. I wrote down my solar panel, solar generator versus dual fuel versus DIY to run more things from outside. Emergency backup, blah, 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 blah. Could you wear out your generator faster by using higher watt panels? Nah, it's just they're capable of what they're capable of. I mean, that's a non-electrician talking, a non-electrical engineer talking. The timing was just right for me. Will you keep doing a lunch live? Please hit the like button. It depends. If I have something quickly to talk about and I could kind of squeeze it into this, hour or so, half hour, then I'll do them, especially I like the last one that I did, which was that quick take on that product. I really enjoyed being able to do that because that kind of tapped into my personal excitement for considering whether I would buy it and kind of looking at it and doing the quick math on how long it would take from solar. I wish they would just tell you that, like, if you got 60 watts, you can charge it and it takes in 60 watts. A lot of power stations don't do that, so you have to do the math yourself. So I was enjoying that. Hey, Dominique, neat. I just noticed that that's a emoticon when it does that. I thought you were hand typing that out, like on some like creating your own style kind of way of doing that. But when I watch the playback back, I see the emoticons. All right, y'all, I'm gonna get up out of here. Y'all be beautiful. Thanks for hanging out with me for this lunchtime live. If you have any questions about any of this stuff, drop a comment after. I'll put links to all those Dollys in the thing right after this. So if you're interested in any of them, I'll just put them down there. I may not put names, they'll just be links. But I'm probably gonna put names because that's how I'm built. That was your choice. So now eat the rest of your cake. Would you ever do a video that lets us know which panels are best for which generators? Yeah, that's tough. Hey, the ETC lifestyle. Mainly, there's no, I don't know if there's real benefit in doing what's best for what. At some point, you just kind of have to get into the manual and see, okay, this one can take in 150 volts. And then you have to understand the concept of hooking them in series. And then you just kind of have to figure out what you want to do, because some people like 100-watt panels. I like 200-watt panels. I'm getting to the point where I'm starting to look at 300 and 400-watt panels. It's really tough to say, because then I'm advising you. And if you don't like that setup, then you could be like, well, I said blah, 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 blah. I want to inform you guys, via sharing my process, sharing things that I consider, so that you guys can make informed decisions about your products, your panels, and all that jazz. Speak forth the AC 300. Don't settle for the AC 200. I dig that. I ain't mad at that. I'm realistic. And I guess I got you. I understand that. Wayne kind of talks like that to me now, but I'm not necessarily countering that idea. I'm just kind of going off of the playbook that I have seen. But they could, what I mean? They could wait till I'm at 10,000 subscribers, and who knows what's out when I hit that, what I mean? All right. I'm out of here. I'll hang around and chat for a little bit if y'all have any lingering questions. Later.